This is an overview of a TAFE SA Primary Industries Moodle site presented by Lee Ridge. I've selected this unit, Maintain OH&S Processes, because it's a core unit within agriculture, horticulture and conservation land management at the Certificate 4 level. This is a unit I developed during 2013 and I think was completed at the beginning of 2014. So there we can see the corporate logo at the top left-hand corner, the title of the unit, some graphics throughout, the introduction to the unit, the learning guide, the assessment guide, the assessment quiz, and we'll look through those documents in a moment, and then also some research links. All of our sites would often, or in fact always, had links to industry, hoping that the students and encouraging the students to broaden their learning journey beyond our course notes, etc. So in this situation, we had Safe Work SA being a South Australian context for the learning process, but we also linked to Safe Work Australia, to Farm Safe Australia, etc. And where appropriate, we'd also add perhaps one or two videos just to enhance the learning process for the student and to ensure they broaden their knowledge again into the industry. So if we just take a look briefly at one of those documents that I was just talking about. Here we have the learning guide for the unit or the course notes. We have the unit code clearly defined here on the right hand side, and where it fits into the training package, and the correct title, Maintain Occupational Health and Safety Processes. With all of our units, it was important from a quality assurance perspective that we added the outline or the unit descriptor within the training package requirements for any specific unit or this particular unit that we're in focus upon right now. And then we would write literally element 1, 2, 3 and so forth. So if we just take a look at this page, here as an example, you'll recognize this as a direct cut and paste from the training package. So the left hand side provides the elements and the information relating to the elements, the titles of the elements, and the right hand side provides the performance criteria. That was really quite useful for the student, but also for myself as the author, because I would cut and paste those performance criteria and I would pop them into the document further below, and then from there they would become my working titles, whereupon I'd write the text accordingly. And that can be a little bit confusing, and of course sorry, I just skipped past that, but the skills and knowledge required, so the student knew up front what they were getting involved with. That can be a little bit confusing, some of the wording relating to the performance criteria for the student, but we used to write in such a way, make it clearly defined in such a way that people in the industry would readily relate to our wording, and yet it would still come across in a professional manner. We also had links direct to industry throughout our learning guides, and again encourage them to broaden their knowledge where appropriate, to learn and gain further insight beyond the faculty's knowledge and beyond our course notes that we were presenting. But every aspect of the learning criteria was addressed by going through each individual performance criteria intricately, and so there you can see that's an exact cut and paste from the unit descriptor and one of the performance criteria for that unit. And then from there we'd implement, we'd write at length to cover the necessary requirements for that performance criteria. We add graphics and ensure that it was a professionally presented document. And all in all, the students seemed to give us very positive feedback with regards to our presentation and the course content and what they'd learned. And so back to the Moodle site. If we now have a look at the assessment guide was broken into 3 components. And again, the unit code on the right hand side, corporate logo on the left, and the unit title. And they would be amended. We use version control, so they would be amended as the training package would be amended. So we were always maintaining our commitment to quality assurance. So within our assessment tools, we would document the due dates and extensions for students, the assignment outlines, In this circumstance, we had a permission sheet or a disclosure statement that allowed information to be released from the employer, and reporting format guidelines. So let's just skip down a little bit. So the theory quiz, which we'll go through in a moment on the Moodle site. We also had a risk assessment that the student had to do within the industry. So we're very strong on getting the students out into the industry and doing the practical component of the training. That's very important, I think, when it comes to competency-based education. And then also work health and safety management system review and a word count of 1,500 word professionally presented report. That may appear to be somewhat daunting, but we presented them with guidelines on just how to go about producing that report, so they were never left to their own devices. There's the permission sheet or the disclosure statement. That is sometimes information relating to work health and safety can be of a sensitive nature, so we always ensure that the student got permission to release the information in their assignments before they were submitted. So report formatting, and there you can see the guidance that we provide them. So what is an introduction? What is the body of the report? What's the conclusion? How should recommendations be presented? All of that information was clearly laid out for the student. And of course, we would contact them as faculty at least 1 day a week, and the students could contact us 5 days a week at any time. We also addressed issues like plagiarism and written submissions and presentation and that sort of information within our assessment tools. The online quiz, theory, this was a theory component for the quiz, self-graded, so I'd immediately get a response back from Moodle defining what the result was from the student. The student had 2 attempts to complete the assessment in a positive manner, and after that the final grade was forwarded to myself or another member of the faculty. So if we just take a quick review of what that might look like for the student, the final report, and here's one that's been done previously. So this result resulted in 70%. But not just the actual result, but the student would also get feedback that we built in to the results, to the report process. And so the student could actually see, okay, so I did well there, maybe I got this question wrong or I got that question wrong, and they'd be encouraged all the way through. And then from there, of course, the faculty member who was responsible for that student would follow up and ensure that they understood where they went well and perhaps where there's improvement and opportunities for improvement for the future. So that's a quick overview of the assessment process. And in that way, the learning criteria, the performance criteria was being assessed in a number of ways, in a number of different manners and contexts, which is important with regards to the transfer of skills out into the industry to ensure that they're successful into the future. So I trust this has been useful in demonstrating one of the examples of a TAFE SA Moodle site.